afternoon. I am Christopher Williams. And
I am Sydney Couye.
And we are located on 1066-55 Old Barbecue on Coursey Boulevard. This is Sydney's On the Clock. Sid, my thoughts for today. Will Caitlin Clark become relevant for the WNBA?
Yes, but not immediately. When you normally think of a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, a lot of people, or at least I'm seeing conversations online where they want to categorize her into like a LeBron James of things. Whenever he first came from high school, went straight into the league and was this generational talent. But you have to realize that he's an anomaly. He doesn't necessarily count in the conversation. No. So in terms of Caitlin Clark, I think that she's going to be a great pro, but I don't think it's going to be automatically when she starts in the league. I think it's going to be one of those things where she slowly progresses into it, and let me explain why. So first off, you have to realize that college is not pros. Only 1.2% of collegiate athletes even make it to the NBA or the WNBA.
Yeah, or overseas as well.
My point exactly. Yeah. Most people do not go pro. So a lot of the time, you're not playing against the same competition whenever you're in collegiate. Whenever she ends up getting drafted by the Indiana Fever, because we already know that they have the first round pick. When she gets drafted, she's going to be competing against the best of not only in this country, but in the world. You have to realize people come from overseas to play here in the U.S. leagues, especially when it comes to basketball. And so, not to mention, she's young. She's young. You have veterans on the team who've been doing this for years. So in their mind, they're thinking, I'm not about to let this new girl, as good as she is, I'm not going to let this new girl come and take my job, especially because you know how the pay wages are in the WNBA. So I think it'll be, like I said, it'll be a gradual thing. And I think you can say the same for Angel Reese. I think their popularity will help women's basketball and will help the WNBA. But in terms of them being able to transfer that talent, it's not going to be automatic.
But I could also say with this, like, look at Brittany Griner. Back in 2012, 2010, Baylor. She was dunking the ball. We never seen a woman do that since 1996 with Lisa Leslie when the WNBA first started. So, but during that time, you know, she had all the popularity, but there was some breakdowns in her life, you know, CBD oil in Russia, the other situation, domestic violence situation as well. And she never really lost relevance, but it was relevance for the wrong reasons as well.
I don't necessarily agree, because I think a lot of time that at the end of the day, people still were synonymous with the fact that Brittany Griner is one of the, or at least at the time, was one of the greater of the women's basketball players. Like, whenever I grew up, and at times I could be 100%, WNBA was not played in my house, or it wasn't like played on TV. It's played a lot more now, but whenever you think of WNBA, the first person that came to mind to me was Brittany Griner. But again, I don't think it would be the same. Like you said, Brittany Griner struggled in WNBA, and we've seen that. And she's still not a top-tier athlete when it comes to actual WNBA. Like you said, her off-court has gave her a lot more notoriety than her on-court. But like I said, I don't think that's the same with Caitlin Clark. But you also have to take into consideration that the rosters are completely different from the W compared to the NBA. A lot of the time, these women are competing for spots just because there are so many budget cuts within the WNBA.
And then I also say this, it's the revenue cost. It's the popularity thing. Some people said they can bring the goals down in order to increase revenue, popularity, and things like that. But I think the only thing they need to do is build around Caitlin Clark, build around Angel Reese, Juju Watkins for that as well.
And we're seeing that already, because literally when you look at this, or at least the preseason right now for the Indiana Fever going into this next year, going into this next season, all of their away games are sold out. That's almost never heard of for an entire team, for basically their entire preseason to be sold out strictly because of a player and how much she's bringing. So overall, are these collegiate athletes coming into this space? Because it's not just her. You also got to think of, I don't believe Juju Watkins declared, but she's going to eventually. You have Angel, like I said, you have Angel Reese, you have Caitlin Clark, you even have Paige Buchers. You even have Paige Buchers.
Yeah.
At the other school. So you have all these people who are bringing this notoriety, bringing this fame to the WNBA, and it's needed in terms of revenue, like you mentioned.
But we'll be right back with more Sydney's on the Clock discussing the NFL kickoff.
No, we're not.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Right now, during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda, get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new Mazda CX-5, or get 0.9% financing on the all-new 24 Mazda CX-90. Save thousands on over 150 new Mazdas now on sale at Team Mazda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
We are back with more Sydney's on the clock. Sid,
Yes.
Grambling State. Wow. Grambling State defeating Montana. Grambling State trying to defeat Purdue. But let's talk about the Purdue game.
I could tell you exactly what happened during the Purdue game. Grambling they faced an opponent that they were just not ready for. That's exactly when it came to Purdue. Because when you think about it, they're completely undersized. And that's saying something. Because when you have a center like Zach Edey, who is 7'4",
300 pounds.
7'4", and the tallest player on Grambling's roster is 6'11",
Yeah.
meaning that is a 5-inch advantage, which means a lot in basketball. Literally, Zach Edey out-rebound the entire Grambling roster by himself.
Yeah.
Not to mention, when you have a team like Purdue, let alone just being an offensive talent or an offensive powerhouse like they are, they're still the number 1 seed. They went into this as one of the number 1 seeds. So when you have a team that has such big offensive strength, especially in the paint, you have to develop an outside game. You literally have to. And that's exactly what they fell short of. You had an entire team go 3 for 12 from the 3-point line.
But also
in the tournament, that's not okay at all. 3 for 12, and y'all only shot 12 at an outside game, knowing that y'all big mans are little mans on Purdue's team. You can't operate like that, especially this late, or at least in the beginning of this tournament.
But also, you can give them props as well. Because, I mean, during the first quarter, it was 27-34. And just being undersized and showing them that, hey, we're the little guys, but we can battle you. We can battle the Alabama. We can battle. You can see it. Like, look at Alabama and Grand Canyon. They were neck and neck. It only ended up there until, I guess, the score started going down a little bit when Alabama just took over the game, basically. But I'll just give props to Grambling because it takes guts.
It does.
Yeah.
For them to secure a spot in the tournament by itself is crazy.
And the first time as well.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first time. I'm not going to lie. The Grambling's head coach has been doing this thing ever since he's been at Grambling. But regardless of the fact, as much as you want to praise a team, because that's exactly what we're here to do, is praise them, because Grambling really showed out for HBCUs. However, I still think they could have been better holding their own.
Oh, yeah.
A lot better. Think about it. Your highest scorer of the night was Trey Michael. No, it was Trey Michael Moulton. Okay. He had 21 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Nobody else on the roster had 20 points or even came near. The next was 11. You can't play at that level when you're playing against a team. Regardless if it was playing against a team like Purdue, you're in the tournament. You're in the tourney.
Yeah. But you
made it this far. And I've seen Grambling be effective from the 3-point line. We've seen it whenever they played Southern.
Yeah.
Dominant. Yeah. What happened during the game? Especially because, like you said, they held their own during the first half. What happened in that second half? What regroup happened during halftime?
I think also just shout out to Contavious Dozier as well. We didn't really capitalize on our shots. We didn't make 3-pointers. We didn't make the necessary points that we needed. And we tried coming back, but at the same time, it was too late. It was about 61-30-something. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really have an opportunity to capitalize on Purdue's mistakes, but Purdue was flawless.
So now that we've seen HBCUs slowly start to integrate themselves and be noticed against these big Power 5 schools and these big other conference schools like SEC, Big 10, Pac-12, you know, what happened with the Pac-12. But regardless, do you think that will actually see a lot more recruiting and a lot more talent from these schools that normally would have been recruited at a Power 5 start going to HBCUs?
I'll say yes and no to that because, like, look at NIL. NIL has been big in the transfer portal as well, and it also has helped other players make a name for themselves, like Juju Watkins, Paige Buckers. They're not thinking about the HBCUs. They're not thinking about the little schools. Mm-hmm. They're thinking about, hey, where can I make a mark for myself? Where can I make a name for myself? Or for the pros as well.
So do you think, well, really, honestly, not even necessarily do you think, but it really just comes down to HBCUs capitalizing on name, image, and likeness. But that's not one of the only conversations we will touch on today after we come back with Sydney's on the Clock.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Now's the best time to experience Mazda during the Season of Inspiration at Team Mazda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on your new Mazda. That's right, shop now, choose your new Mazda, and make no payments for 90 days at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
And we are back with more Sydney's on the clock. Sid.
Yes.
So the West is big, you know, with the Pelicans, 48 and 27. And also the Kings and OKC as well. So who in the West can make a run, basically?
Okay. So I actually just did the NBA's HBCU stream for the Timberwolves and the Warriors. So I'm very up to date when it comes to this because I haven't been paying attention. I can wholeheartedly say I have not been paying attention to the Eastern Conference. But the Western Conference, and I really think it just comes down to the fact that the Eastern Conference is kind of decided already. But the Western Conference on the other end, it's a lot more. Everybody is kind of equal in a sense. So you have standout teams, of course. You have the Denver Nuggets. You have OKC. You also have the Timberwolves that are up there.
And the Kings as well.
You have the, not necessarily the Kings, more the Clippers than the Kings.
I'm going to say, the Clippers.
But as of right now, if we're talking about actual teams, or right now, because look, you have, even in the West, you have the Rockets, and then you have the Warriors that are going to be competing for the 10th seed for the play-in. I hope that the Rockets make it to, because I prefer the Rockets just because, you know, I'm biased.
Houston,
I'm from Houston.
Like yeah.
But as of right now, I genuinely want to see OKC bring it home. But I still think the fact that they're such a young team and there really isn't that many veterans. Really, your veteran is Shea, and Shea is still young in himself. Literally, your average age for OKC is the same average age for UConn. It's 22 years old in 9 months. So this is essentially a college team. It's just that they're professional.
And they're also building to reach that pinnacle as well.
My point exactly. So if we're going off of just not necessarily talent, but who can produce, especially in the postseason, whenever we're in finals or we're in playoffs, I think the Nuggets is going to take it home again.
I would say that too as the Nuggets, because after watching those games, even with versus Dallas, going head to head, like usually during that time, you know, basically they'll lead for a little while, and then, you know, Dallas came back, but they built enough points to win, basically. So I just feel as though, you know, the cohesion with Jamal Murray and also Nikola Jokic, they have an opportunity to repeat as well.
You also got to throw in Michael Porter Jr. in there as well, too.
Oh, yeah,
He's been playing.
Is underrated.
Very underrated player.
Yeah.
But
and Aaron Gordon as well.
Also, too, like I said, we already seen with the East. East is going to be the Celtics 9 times out of 10. The Cavs actually been, well, no, the Cavs is West. East. Who else is in the Eastern Conference that you've seen that's actually
Eastern
been making a good
Celtics,
play so far?
The Bucks as well.
The Bucks,
with
of course.
Dame and Giannis as well. The East.
But we knew that preseason because I vividly remember on this exact same show, we had this talk whenever they just started playing, whenever the NBA had just started playing its preseason games. We said it in the East. It was going to be between the Bucks and the Celtics. And we're seeing it actually play out. But I'm saying the Western Conference, it's just a lot more, it's more of a wild card.
But you could also say with the 76ers, Tyrese Maxey, a baller. And Tobias Harris as well. They can be sleepers.
Which is true. But actually, I'm about to move the conversation a little bit. So I don't know if you paid attention, but did you see that dunk Anthony Edwards had?
I did.
Do you think potentially, because, you know, we had this conversation with Ja Morant whenever he first was, or not even necessarily when he first came into the scene, but when he really started making those big play dunks. LeBron's getting older. Who out the NBA do you see starting to mold into the face of the league now?
I feel like it's Anthony Edwards, because every game that he plays, it's magic. It's basically like Jordan-esque. Even Jordan said himself, I see myself in Anthony Edwards. Because, I mean, hey, Cat has been injured, and I feel like with Anthony Edwards, he can actually build a platform in order to make the NBA a wider audience as well.
You see, and I agree with you because honestly, I feel as if the Timberwolves play better without Karl Anthony Towns, especially with the level of play Naz Reid has been filling in for him. But even going back, you have the personality, you have the skill, you have somebody who have not even have the skill, but people see themselves in him. And I think that's one thing that's definitely going to resonate with a lot of the crowd. But we will get into that more as we come back after commercial break with Sydney's on the Clock.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Celebrate this holiday season with the gift of a new Honda during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. And now you can make no payments for 90 days on our biggest selection of Hondas this year, making this the happiest time of the year. Come save now at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
And we are back with Sydney's on the clock once again. Chris.
Yes.
So we had to go to commercial break, and we couldn't necessarily go fully in depth with our last topic. But back to what I was originally saying, Anthony Edwards, I think he's moving into that next generation, moving into that next step of his career to where we can have this conversation. Like I mentioned beforehand, John Morant was definitely in this conversation. It's just John Morant brings too much controversy.
Too much baggage as well.
He has too much baggage. He has too much controversy. When you think of a player who, in the face of the league, you have LeBron, who has been playing for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Who has not been in controversy, has not even been in a scandal, has not been in trouble, has not been in legal trouble. That's the biggest one. So when you have Anthony Edwards, like I said, somebody who children, who athletes, they resonate with because they see themselves in him, because he's on the younger side as well too. Somebody who's very energetic, who has the personality, who knows who he is as an athlete. But I think his biggest situation and his biggest issue to where he cannot move to that next point is his market, is what team he plays for. He plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. Even though they have an NBA team, they do not have that big of a market compared to a Lakers, compared to the Atlantas, compared to the Clippers. He needs to be where they can build an entire system around him, not to mention to bring revenue. Because that's the biggest thing when it comes to being the face of a league. How much money can you make this league? LeBron's face in itself is $1 billion industry. Yeah. Anything that LeBron's face or his name gets stamped on is going to sell. We don't see that with Anthony Edwards yet, but do you think he could eventually graduate to that point?
I do as well, but I think, moving towards another market, maybe it can be the New York Knicks, like with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is the face of that team, but having a shooting guard or like a point guard ex-player like Anthony Edwards on the team that will actually build up his resume as well. Because we saw that with Melo. Melo moved to New York around like 2012, and he was at Denver. Denver wasn't a big market until Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray got there. But if he can go somewhere, maybe like the Knicks, maybe like the Bulls or somewhere like that, he can really build a name for himself.
So even going into switching into different leagues, we've been talking about the NBA all day, but now the NFL. The NFL has been known in recent years to consistently change its rules, and now they're doing no more. And it was a unanimous vote by all the NFL governors and all the team owners. They all said they need to do away with the hip drop tackle. You know, you're a football man through and through, so I want to know your opinions on that.
I feel like I love it because, you know, as the XFL, USFL, they implement those tactics. They implement those kickoff things like that. And I feel like it will help them have no injuries as well. It's not going to stop injuries, but it's going to stop head injuries, trauma, things like that. And it's going to also help them have longevity with their career as well.
I've been seeing a lot of the conversation that people feel as if that's taking away a part of or necessarily part of the game. Do you think that's playing a part as well too, that they're continuously with all these rules? I understand to protect players, but is it essentially stripping the game of what it's initially supposed to be about?
So you mean like making it almost like flag football in the way?
Right.
I think like just seeing the trauma and just seeing different concussions like Junior Seau, Aaron Hernandez, those injuries like that, I feel like this prevents that. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't really get hit a lot. He was 45 playing in 2022 and made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So if we implement these things and we actually help these players have a longer life, have longevity, it's going to help them in the long run.
And we've even seen that's not the only rule that they're changing. They're even changing the way they're doing kickoffs. Now it's basically a touchback. But then again, 95% of all kickoffs were touchbacks.
Yeah. But also, it was unusual to me, like watching the XFL doing it, but it's going to help the NFL with promotion and different things like that.
Well, Chris, I have enjoyed this conversation through and through. Y'all see I don't have my normal notes here. I don't have my computer like I normally do. But overall, this has been a great conversation. This has been Sydney Coulier
and Chris Williams
signing out. Y'all have a great day.
God bless.